My name is Ella, and this is the story of how I ended up inside Sammy's prison, a place hidden from the world, buried deep, where normal people would never think to look. At first glance, the prison didn't seem terrifying. The walls were clean, the lights were bright, the floors looked simple, almost friendly. For a moment, I even thought, this might be easy. That was my first mistake. The door slammed shut behind me with a metallic echo that crawled down my spine. The sound didn't feel loud. It felt final. Like the prison itself had just decided that I belonged to it. I took my first steps forward, my shoes tapping softly against the cold floor. Every movement echoed too clearly, as if the walls were listening. Somewhere above, I could hear a slow mechanical hum. Lasers charging, traps resetting, the prison breathing. Sammy was watching. I couldn't see the guard yet, but I felt it. The first obstacle waited only a few meters ahead. Thin, red laser lines hovered just above the floor, moving slowly back and forth like they were searching for mistakes. They looked harmless, almost playful, but I knew better. I crouched low, timing my movements with my breath. One step, pause. Another step. My heart pounded louder than the lasers themselves. The moment I stood up too quickly, one beam grazed my sleeve. The alarm didn't scream. Instead, the light flickered, as if warning me. I froze. From far away, I heard footsteps, heavy, unhurried, confident. Sammy. I ran. The prison opened into a wide corridor filled with spinning platforms suspended over darkness. I couldn't see the bottom. I didn't want to. The platforms moved in uneven rhythms, forcing me to jump not just with speed, but with trust in myself. I jumped once, then again. The third jump nearly sent me falling. My fingers barely caught the edge. My arms burned as I pulled myself up, my heart racing so fast it felt like it would tear out of my chest. I didn't scream. I couldn't afford to. Behind me, I heard Sammy laugh, calm, almost amused. Not angry, not rushed, just waiting. That scared me more than shouting ever could. The next area was darker. The lights flickered, casting long shadows that moved even when nothing else did. The floor was cracked, with glowing symbols beneath the surface. Pressure traps. One wrong step, and the floor would vanish. I whispered to myself as I moved. Slow, careful, breathe. Every step felt like a test of my patience. My legs trembled not from exhaustion, but from the effort of staying calm. When I reached the other side, I leaned against the wall for just a second. That's when I saw Sammy. Not close, not far, standing behind a glass wall, smiling. Sammy didn't chase. Sammy never rushed. Sammy waited. The prison changed as I moved deeper. The walls narrowed, the air felt heavier. The obstacles stopped being obvious. Hidden lasers activated without warning. Floors collapsed beneath me, forcing split-second reactions. I fell once, scraped my knee, felt the sting, but I didn't stop. Pain didn't matter. Stopping did. At one point, the hallway filled with moving laser grids that shifted like puzzles. I had to move with them, not against them. When I finally made it through, my hands were shaking. I laughed quietly to myself. Not because it was funny, because I was still alive. Near the end of this section, I reached a locked door with a glowing green button. The exit! Or so I thought. The button didn't open the door. It triggered the alarms. Lights flashed red. Sirens wailed. And for the first time, Sammy moved fast. Footsteps thundered behind me as I sprinted down the final corridor. The walls blurred, my lungs burned. I could hear Sammy's voice now, close enough to feel. I slid under one last closing gate just as it slammed shut behind me. Silence. I lay on the floor, staring up at the ceiling. Breathing hard, my body was shaking, but I was still whole, still free for now. But I knew the truth. This prison wasn't finished with me. Sammy wasn't finished with me. And the next escape would be even harder. I stood up, wiped the dust from my hands, and walked forward. Because I wasn't giving up. Not now, not ever. I thought the hardest part was already behind me. I was wrong. When I slipped out of the last corridor from before, the heavy metal door slammed shut behind me with a deep echo that shook the floor. The sound traveled far, bouncing through the hidden prison like a warning bell. Somewhere in the distance, alarms began to pulse. Slow at first, then faster, sharper. Sammy knew. I didn't stop running. The next area opened into a massive underground yard carved into stone. Dim lights hung from chains above, swinging slightly, as if the prison itself was breathing. The ground below was cracked concrete, split by glowing red lines, laser grids embedded directly into the floor. One wrong step, and it would be over. I slowed my pace, forcing myself to breathe. This prison loved rushing people into mistakes. It looked simple, straight paths, wide platforms, but every safe-looking surface was a lie. I jumped. The first laser flickered on right as my feet left the ground. Heat rushed past my boots. I landed cleanly and kept moving, timing my steps with the pulse of the red light. Jump, slide, roll, jump again. Behind me, I heard it. Footsteps, heavy, uneven. Sammy. I didn't look back. Looking back was how people froze. Instead, forward. Moment. Forward. I trusted my instincts and pushed forward, vaulting over a broken fence and landing on a narrow beam suspended above darkness. The beam swayed under my weight. Below me, the void waited. Above me, rotating laser arms spun in slow circles, sweeping the air like glowing scythes. I crouched low, inching forward, feeling the vibration of the machinery through the metal. Too slow. A distorted voice echoed through speakers. My heart jumped, not from fear, but anger. I wasn't slow. I timed the spin, sprinted the last stretch, and dove off the beam just as the laser sliced through the space where my head had been. I hit the platform hard, rolled, and popped back up without stopping. The prison shifted again. Walls rose, floors dropped. Conveyor belts activated, pulling me towards spinning traps lined with spikes. I ran against the movement, legs burning, every step a fight. Sparks flew as debris hit the grinders beside me. Sammy burst into view at the far end of the hall, tall, shadowed, moving faster now. I didn't panic. Instead, I smiled. I jumped onto a side rail, grabbed a hanging chain, and swung over the conveyors just as Sammy lunged forward. He missed, barely, crashing into the machinery with a metallic roar. I didn't wait to see what happened next. The final stretch of this section led upward through a vertical escape shaft filled with moving platforms. Some rose, some fell, some vanished the moment you touched them. I climbed, hands gripping edges, feet slipping, muscles screaming. Every jump demanded full focus. I missed one platform and barely caught the ledge with my fingertips. Hanging over nothing. Below me, something growled. I pulled myself up and kept going. At the top, a narrow maintenance tunnel opened into fresh air, or at least what passed for it in this hidden place. I crawled through and collapsed onto solid ground. chest heaving, heart pounding like a drum. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then I heard it again. Footsteps. Sammy was still coming. I stood up, wiped the dust from my hands, and looked ahead. Another door waited for me. Locked, glowing, demanding a final test to open. I placed my hand on the panel. Whatever waited beyond, I would face it. Because I wasn't just running anymore. I was escaping. And I wasn't going to stop.